Stranded in a primal forest, one chef battles hunger, tradition, and pride using spices and skills to cultivate a world of wild flavors. What am I talking about? Well, let's get to it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode of this awesome podcast that you can find at www.spiraken.com. We're also at youtube.com/@Spiraken. We're on Instagram, Blue Skies, TikTok, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAKN, and I guarantee you'll find us one way or another. And if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe, and as always, click on that bell for notification for when we release new episodes and new polls and new posts. Got a bunch of really cool ones. And before we get any further, welcome to our 590th episode of this podcast. That's 590 manga we've talked about. It's crazy that we've talked about that many in this amount of time. I mean, let's be honest. It's been since 2008, so it's been a while. But 590 manga, wow. That's kind of crazy. I've read so many things from basic shonen series to awesome josei series, amazing seinen series, and kind of subversive shoujo series. And throughout this time, I have seen a lot of things, some which are amazing and wonderful, and some that are kind of mediocre. But we're still here, we're still doing the best we can, and I'm going to try to do an amazing episode today because we've got a very, well, let's be honest, it's an interesting concept manga that's based off of a web novel. And what am I talking about? I am talking about, well, Cooking with Wild Game by Eda. And this is a manga which is a little familiar. As you can guess, it's an isekai. And it stars our main character, Asuda Tsurumi. And he is the son of a restaurant owner who wants to do the best he can for his dad. He has learned and studied under him for years, but his dad thinks he's not that great. He's like, you're okay, you're not the best. And one day, his dad gets in an accident and gets hurt. Unfortunately, he gets hurt during a time when you have this group that's been kind of harassing his dad to sell the business, move away, and a lot of stuff's going on. And he's kind of concerned, so he goes to his dad, sees him. He's like, Dad, I can take over if you're sick and injured. He's like, no. Just wheel me into the restaurant. I can cook. I don't trust you. And they get some news from his childhood friend that the restaurant is on fire. It's been ignited. And Asuda's like, oh God, the restaurant's on fire. What are we going to do? His dad is more concerned that his prized possession, a very expensive cooking knife, is in the restaurant. He can't make food without this knife. So, being a dutiful son, Asuda rides his bike, goes to the place, and is going to run inside to get this knife that's so important to his dad. And as you possibly can guess, he ends up dying with this knife in his hand and ending up in another world. And he ends isekais to another world. No information about him, no magical powers, just him with his clothes and this knife. Kind of creepy, kind of spooky. But what's he going to do? Well, he's confused about this world and what can happen. And what is he going to do? How's he going to survive? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know where he is. He might be in Japan. He's not sure. And then something horrible happens. A giant creature attacks him. And this creature kind of looks like a giant boar. Now, if you've ever seen actual footage of giant boars, like ones in Hawaii, these things are massive. They can kill humans. And so Asuda is kind of concerned with this, and he tries to dodge this creature. He ends up tripping, falling, and ends up falling in a trap for this creature. And he's rescued by a woman who calls out to him saying, hey, you okay down there? Did you break your leg? And he's like, I'm fine. I'm okay. I can get up there. Can you send me a rope? Sure, whatever. Weakling. And he ends up getting out of this hole and meets Afa. Afa is a member of the Giba Eaters, a tribe in the middle of the forest who they're kind of shunned by society because they did something in the past, and now their job is to eat these creatures known as Giba, which are these boar creatures. And that's what they do. They're not allowed to have jobs. They can't leave the forest. They can't steal or cook any of the fruits, they can only eat these specific items because whatever reason. We don't really understand it. They explain it, but it's kind of basic feudal. They're the lower class, whatever. So she ends up taking him back to her village where she's shunned because she's the last member of the Fa clan. Her father died, and it's just her, and she's a woman who does hunting, which only men are supposed to do, so she's kind of frowned upon. She has one group of allies of the Sioux clan, and then there's the Sun clan who she despises because the heir to the family tried to rape her. Yeah, they get into that. And so she is living with him, and she's going to cook for him because she'll make food. And what does she do? Well, she takes the gibba and had cut off one leg, which wastes the entire amount of meat. And then she throws the gibba into a pot and just cooks it for like 2 hours. You have all this scum on top of the water, and then just gives him this meat, which is not really good. Like, it could be good because boar meat is pork and it's really tasty, but these people don't know how to cook it. They don't have the vegetables or the spices or the things, and it is horrible. So what happens is that Asuda tells Ifa, "Let me cook for you as a thank you for what we do. Just follow me on this." And he ends up cooking for her and showing her how to make the food. And as they're cooking, he gets into it, and he ends up actually doing a lot. He ends up making the food smell good. She's never smelled this before, and it smells delicious. And what's he doing? The food should be ready right now. Why are we waiting so long? Why are you just putting that stuff up? We need that to live. And he's like, no, no, no. Here's how we're going to cook it. And he ends up cooking this delicious pork dish, which she's never had before, and she ends up falling in love with it. It's like, oh, it's good. It's the most delicious thing ever, but food is food. You need it to survive. You don't need it to enjoy it. And now Asuda is going to teach Ifa and all the different people in her village and the Isekai world about the deliciousness of this food, which is gibba meat. And this is where the story takes off. It's him teaching them how to cook food, but it's not a food manga where you learn how to cook the food or it gives you recipes. It's not a lot of focusing on it. Like, the big thing they focus on is actually like butchering the meat, and then there's not much for a while. They go into some of the elements about how there's this potato item which looks like it's a potato, but it's actually flour. So he's got to use that instead to make bread. And then the first thing he makes besides this pork cutlet is he makes Hamburg steak out of gibba, which is really good and popular. That he makes some other meat. And then a lot of the people in the village don't like his food because they say it's sacrilege. And he has to teach them how to do it. And then it turns out that they don't have money, but they get money from selling gibba fangs, which gets him some money. So he's going to make money in the village by selling the gibba meat, which is a taboo because most people think it's a savage, horrible food. And he's got to change things. And this goes on for about 4 volumes before it really does anything. And meanwhile, as I said, Ifa is a scantily clad, larger woman than him, who kind of is very tsundere and just kind of like, oh, I like, he's part of he's now in my clan. He's a family member, but that's about it. There's no romance going on, nothing, just her being very, I like the food, but I don't love the food. You're trying to do your own thing. I need to do my own thing, and nothing happens for a while. To be honest, for the relationship aspect of this, there are 22 volumes of this manga. It's volume 17 when they confess. And before anything really gets started, it's 5 volumes. This is a super slow, and I mean slow burn. It's not as engaging as so many other cooking isekais. It doesn't get into the cooking aspect. It doesn't get into the elements of how to make the food amazing. It doesn't go in many locations because for the most part you're in the village for the first 3 volumes, and then you get into the stone town on the edge of the forest. But there's still nothing really happens. It just kind of like, oh, he's gonna work on his shop. It's gonna be okay. Not really. Oh wait, he's gonna make something new. It's kind of like a gyro, but not really. And one girl doesn't like it, but I'm not compelled. I'm not intrigued. Like it's an interesting concept. It's one which, if I hadn't read so many other series about cooking manga and about isekai and being a cook, I would love this series. But I've read so many others. This one is okay. And the reason why I'm going to hit it with it's an okay, for the big reason is that a lot of other cooking mangas, the whole thing is it's cooking different types of food. Well, I'll bring my experience to here, or I'll learn to cook the food here, and I'll make you things. Good example is camping in another world with a Fenrir. Really popular series, and yes, he's importing food from our world, but he also cooks things like rock and orc and snake. It does something. This is literally everything is the gibba. Everything's a gibba, and then maybe one of the different herbs that they find. That's it. I mean, I like the element of the cultural differences, how there are rules, and you get into that specificity. But it really doesn't achieve what you want. It doesn't have this balance. It's not exceptional. It's not great. It's just kind of okay. I have some strict standards for cooking manga, and this one does not hit any of them. This is like borderline. And as an isekai, I like the fact that he's not overpowered. It's not I'm the most powerful person ever. It's not that. It's just, meh. So, for all those reasons, and why I've been thinking about it, it's a gift from your crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but in the end, forgettable. Very slow. It's a very slow isekai cooking manga. There's some fan service. I mean, Aifa is dressed up in literally a bikini, but it's not titillating, which is fine. But it's like it feels like you didn't need to do that. You could have given her other clothes. It just, I don't know. It just, the design of the characters, it's not form for function, but it's not fan service. It's this weird thing. And his clothes he steals from her dad, or dead dad's clothes. It's interesting, but still looks kind of modern. It's the artist didn't know what they were doing here, but it was based on a web novel that was released weekly, so that kind of makes sense. The social dynamic between the different cultures is a little fascinating, but it doesn't go too deep into it, and that's kind of I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit of a hurdle to get through. And the main character, he's overcritical. And what do I mean by he's overcritical? Is he someone who judges people a lot? No. He's overcritical because he takes forever to debate on something. He's like, I want to start a business, but I don't know if I should start a business. Let me talk to this character. What do you think? You said this. What about you? What do you think? Aifa, what do you think? There's a thing called gamer paralysis. It's when you're playing a board game with a player and they're kind of stuck on their move. It's like it's their turn. They had everyone else's turn to make a decision of what they're going to do, and they're now going to take their turn to spend 20 minutes debating about what to do. This character has player paralysis, and that kind of drives me nuts. And it is a good manga. It's a fun manga, but it's not the bee's knees. I read this on Azuki, and I love Azuki, by the way, amazing app. Would I actually buy this manga? Honestly, no. This is, like I said, a gift from a crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but in the end, I'm not going to remember this next week. This isn't like The Climber. This isn't like Ashita no Joe. This isn't like Man in the Abyss. It's just meh. But if you've read this and you disagree with me, email me, zay@spiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts. And anyway, with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, because we've got some fun ones this week. And what am I talking about? Well, talking about 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, Volume 14. 10 Things I Want to Do Before I Turn 40. Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You, Volume 7. The Apothecary Diaries art book. This thing looks beautiful, by the way. The Barbarian Bride, Volume 3. Bastard web novel, Volume 1. Beetle Hands, Volume 3. Betrayed by the Hero, I Formed a MILF Party with His Mom, Volume 1. Blue Box, Volume 15. Chainsaw Man, Volume 18. Colette Decides to Die, Volume 3, Dark Gathering, Volume 13, The Elusive Samurai, Volume 15, The Emperor's Caretaker, Volume 2, I Abandoned My Engagement Because My Sister is a Tragic Heroine, but somehow I became entangled with the Righteous Prince, the Novel, Volume 3, I Can't Refuse S, Volume 6, I Want to Escape from Princess Lessons, Volume 2, In the Name of the Mermaid Princess, Volume 6, Isekai Affair, 10 years after defeating the Demon King, the hero cheats on his wife with the warrior woman who lost her husband, Volume 2, Kagurabachi, Volume 5, or 3, rather, Kimono Jihen, Volume 16, The King's Beast, Volume 15, Kuma 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 Bear, 20.5, the novel series, Like a Butterfly, Volume 12, Love Between Fairy and Devil, Book 1, Love on the Horizon, Volume 2, The Medalist, Volume 8, Monster Musume, Everyday Life with Monster Girls, Volume 19, Pet Shop of Horrors, Collector's Edition 2, Queen's Quality, Volume 22, Sakamoto Days, Volume 17, Snow and Ink, Volume 3, A Tale of the Secret Saint, Volume 2, this is the novel, Thunder 3, Volume 4, Too Many Losing Heroines, Volume 3, Too Perfect Saint, Tossed Aside by My Fiancé and Sold to Another Kingdom, Volume 2, Tune Into the Midnight Heart, Volume 1, Vinland Saga, Book 7, the deluxe edition. This one looks really heavy. Wolf Girl and the Black Prince, Volume 13. And last and certainly not least, we've got You and I Are Polar Opposites, Volume 5. And these are the manga releases for the week. We've got some really cool ones, some really messed up ones, and a lot of sequels, and nothing too original this week. For me personally, my top 5 this week are going to be the Apothecary Diaries official art book, because that series is so great. It has art from the anime, from the light novel, and from the manga. Bastard, the web novel, Volume 1. This is an interesting horror series. I want to check out and see what it's about. Chainsaw Man, Volume 18. We're getting close to the end, and it's Chainsaw Man. Pet Shop of Horrors, Collection 2. It's such a great series, and I can't wait to get more of it. And then Tune Into the Midnight Heart. The premise alone intrigues me. I want to put this on the wheel of manga, but I'm going to wait for 2 volumes before I get into that, really. But regardless, which ones are you most excited about? Let me know. Email me, zanspiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for every email I get, every comment I get, every new subscriber. Every time I see one of these, I get more motivation to keep doing this podcast. And I love doing this. And I want to keep doing this. I'm an old man who reads manga with thick glasses and large print manga. So thank you so much. Now, we are still doing our GoFundMe for another week. So if you want to donate and help us keep the lights on in this podcast, you can donate at tinyurl.com/@Spiraken. Or if you want, you can scan the QR code right here and just, join in, help us out. And before I go any further, one more thing. We officially have the schedule for Animazement 2025. I've got my panels up, and what do we got? We've got on the 23rd of May at 4 p.m., I'm going to be running I'm Still Not Old, main characters over 30 years old. These are 30 more characters. This is going to be panel room 306. On 5/24, we've got Hard Anime Manga 2025. This is at 10 p.m. in panel room 302 AB. And then on Sunday, the 25th of May, we've got at 12:30, Happily Ever After, Wedded Bliss in Anime and Manga. This is in panel room 306A, which seems to be my main home. So these are the panels that I'm going to be running at Animazement. So if you are able to go there at Raleigh, I'll be there. And if you're from the podcast, say hi. Might give a shout out to you when I do my panel and con review. But I digress. So regardless, thank you so much for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and let's get to the part that you have all been waiting for. The most popular part of this podcast. And what are we talking about? We're talking about that one, that only. They will love manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, the manga that's in that spot is the one I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 591. That is 9 away from episode 600. And can you believe it? 600 episodes. I don't think I know any other manga podcast that's gotten that high yet. I think maybe Manga Pulse, if they're still around. I'm not entirely sure, but hey, let's spin see what we're going to review, shall we? I'm excited to see what we're going to get. Let's see what we're going to get. Ubelblatt. Oh, cool. We're going to be doing Ubelblatt, the story of group of individuals who get betrayed by other members, and then one survivor who's going to get revenge on them all. I've heard so much about the series, but I've actually never read it, so let's see what it's going to be about. And also, it is a deluxe edition, so that's going to be kind of cool. But either way, I hope you did enjoy this episode. As usual, I am your host, Zan. I am Gonzville. Catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.